My name is Francis, and I am a student here at Penn State Lehigh Valley, and I'm also a veteran. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 2007 July to 2018 November. And my time in the Marine Corps, I was predominantly a combat MOS. I was in the infantry. I deployed 3 times in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, and I deployed to 6 of the 7 continents, operating in capacities to include combat or training exercises with partner nations and even humanitarian efforts. My time in the Marine Corps gave me a lot of positive experience and a lot of growth, and absolutely made me who I am today. And as a veteran, I utilized the things that I learned in the military to be a better civilian. But Veterans Day is important not just to commemorate the men and women who served for our country and defended our nation, but it's also to remember the individuals and the sacrifices that they have made.
Hi, my name is Isaac Martinez. I spent 2 tours to Iraq. My first tour was fairly a new one. I didn't know what to expect, but then you adjust as the time goes on. The hardest deployment, I would say, will be the second one, because at that time my wife and I moved recently from New York to Massachusetts, from where my National Guard unit was, and we were going to be deployed to Iraq for the second time. Why was it hard? Because I had to leave my our newborn baby with my wife, who was just like new at that state. And it was a hard decision, but at the same time it was like rewarding, because I was helping my family and in some ways to get ahead. But day to day was tough, because thinking that my wife was by herself in a new state, and daddy wouldn't be there to help them, was a very hard situation. After a year in Iraq in 2010, we were actually in Kuwait, but all the equipment that needed to be withdrawn from Iraq, we went to Iraq and brought it down to Kuwait to be shipped to the different parts in the United States. This deployment, the last deployment, was something that I will never forget. My first deployment was like ready to go. I wasn't afraid of like anything. But when you become a father, it's not, you're never afraid to go outside the wire with your brothers and sisters, but in the back of your mind is like you're afraid not to be back to your loved ones. And family, it's something wonderful, but at the same time it's something that will make you think a lot. And I would say that was the hardest part for me, leaving my family. And but then I came back, and after serving in the U.S. Army and National Guard, I spent more to being active duty 9 years and versus 6 in the National Guard, because from all the deployments after 9/11. And in 2014, I was medically retired, and I'm proud of that. Thanks.
So I just wanted to touch on a little story, since I've been retired since 2018. When I was retiring, I was in Hawaii, and during the Army, they try to get you ready for the transitioning period. And at that time, I thought that I had everything worked out. You know, I was going to be retired, monthly check, I was good to go. I didn't really have much to worry about. My kids didn't really have much to worry about. But I figured I need something else to kind of occupy my time, since I was 36 at the time, and I needed something to do. And so my brother, my younger brother, who is currently in '03 in the Coast Guard. He was a graduate of Penn State Lehigh Valley. He spoke in a Veterans Day event a couple years ago, Alex McConnell. I was on the phone with him trying to discuss things, and basically he said, you know what, try this college thing. I'm not an intellectual person. I'm more of a hands-on, delegate, project management type. And so he talked to me about it, and he kind of convinced me. And so I applied, met online with Professor Burley, and here I am, a couple years later, about to graduate next semester. And to be honest with you, it was one of the best decisions of my life. You know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it. Penn State has been my life. My kids love it. I love it. My mom is proud of me now. I mean, not saying she wasn't proud of me before, but now that I've had this underneath my belt next spring, to be honest with you, this, as I stated before, is one of the best decisions of my life. Transitioning into college life and getting my degrees here at Penn State Lehigh Valley. So we are.
How's it going, everyone? For those of you that don't already know me, my name is Jared, and I'm a senior at Penn State this year, and I'm a BBH major. Served in the U.S. Navy from 2014 to 2019, and for Veterans Day this year, just wanted to share some of my experiences with everyone, and talk about what being a veteran means to me, which is it's a tough question to answer. Kind of have to unpack that a little bit, you know, because it's complicated. Those the years I was in were probably like some of the hardest years of my life, some of the most miserable years of my life, but also like I wouldn't trade that experience for anything, due to all the great people I met and all the places I got to see, the stuff I got to do. I never would have met my fiance if it hadn't have, if I hadn't have joined, if I had just stayed back home in Oklahoma and not push myself to do something that scared me a little bit. So it's complicated. It is something I never wanted to make a career out of, but I guess it was just something I always wanted to do, just to do, if that makes sense. And working a job that makes you actively miserable for such a long period of time can bring clarity. Like, it definitely, I didn't know what I wanted to really do with my life, what like kind of career I wanted to pursue, but being stuck in a job that at the time I hated for so long, like it, kind of made it really clear to me what I did want to do with my life. And like now that I'm out and I'm on the other side of it, looking back, like as much as I said at the time, like I hate this, I can't wait to get out, like you do miss those experiences that you had. A lot of it was like the people that you're with. Adversity is definitely a great way of building bonds, and even looking back at the bad times, they don't really seem that bad because you were with really good people, and I think that's what makes the whole experience is the people. So I don't really know what else to say, but thank you to all the vets that came before me, that paved the way, made it possible. I don't really feel like I did anything noble or heroic. Like I was just doing my job. Like that's all it was to me, was just a job. And like I did my job well, and I'm proud of that. But we definitely owe a lot to the ones that came before us. Definitely like guys from my grandpa and my great grandpa's generation that like literally fought for our freedoms and made it possible for us to, you know, do what we do today. So I just want to say thank you to all of those that paved the way, and happy Veterans Day, everybody. We are.